Hey guys, so this is not a Grow Wealthy Grooming. This is just an impromptu conversation. I actually have a coaching call in about 30 minutes. I'm still in my pajama top, but I felt this was so important and I felt really passionate, so I wanted to share it. Sorry for the background. This is just real life happening right now. So, feel free to, I don't know if we're on, I'm hoping we're in the group and on my regular page. So what I wanted to talk about was I am often in other Facebook groups and I reply. I do know in my Savvy Pet Professionals, I have a whole thing coming up for January and in the end of this year to get more engagement for you guys. But a lot of times in other groups, I just see things posted and it pulls at my heartstrings and I feel obligated to answer. And in this post, it was all about a young woman who works at Pet Value, which, as some of you guys may know, is going out of business. Now, they had paid their groomers 50% gross profit. So I'm not surprised they went out of business. So grooming, when it's a 50%, is what's called a loss lead, which means the business loses money doing the grooming. But the goal is that pets will come in for grooming, buy toys, and other things. The same thing happened with the tubs they had there. I remember one of the owners saying, oh yeah, we paid $30,000 to put in these 2 tubs. Well, they have 3 tubs. And unfortunately, we make $10 a dog, which doesn't cover the shampoo and the water. It just didn't. But every time I would take my standard poodle in to go get a bath and blow dry, guess what I would do? I would buy treats. I would buy toys. It was very convenient. So that's why they did that. And that said, so I'm just going to show you guys. And again, this is not a roast on the person that replied. I just want to have a conversation. And I think it's vital enough that I'm in my PJ top and I'm like, all right, we got to have this conversation. So this is what I had written. The girl was like, well, I should say woman, was, I'm thinking about maybe going on my own, and people were saying crazy things like, just get a shed and put it on your property. That's not a business, guys. That is, in most places, illegal. It's very hard to get businesses legal. But part of it, I also wanted to talk about Payrate and why, because she was like, do I want to take 30% at a place that seems more reasonable or at a place that was 50% that was basically run completely illegally? And this was my rant. I should say this was me offering advice. Not unsolicited because it was asked for. So I said 30 to 50% commission isn't pay rate, I said pray. My bad. I meant pay rate. And guys, it's not. If I said to you, if you're at a dinner party and someone says, how much money do you make? They would never say that. But let's say they did for shits and giggles. You wouldn't say 50%. That's not a pay rate. Is that $30,000 a year? $50,000? $100,000? 50% is not how much you have earned. It's how much of a cut you get, which is a partnership rate. By the way, guys, doctors and lawyers have to pay sometimes hundreds of thousands of dollars to get a percentage, and they don't even get 50%. Back to this. You should ask what the average groom is and how consistently they groom dogs, because 50% of nothing is nothing, right? My groomer is paid hourly plus bonuses, but if she were 30% commission, she would earn more in my business than most businesses at 50% and be a lot happier. And here is why. We require all clients to be under 20 pounds on a 4-week schedule and are a minimum of $100. We have a set schedule which allows full unless bad weather or an emergency hit, versus a shop where the average groom is $50. And some days there are 10 and some days there are 4. I'm a slow groomer. I really am slow. I have no problem admitting it, guys. I don't want to groom. If I'm grooming Shih Tzus, I don't want to groom more than 5. After that, I start hurting. I've been grooming over 10 years, probably closer to 15 at this point. I have carpal tunnel in both my hands. I have a fractured back from a car accident, and I'm tired. I'm physically tired. Some people are just built to be able to keep grooming. I'm 5'1", but I always lie and say I'm 5'2". I'm not built to wrangle with dogs. I love them, but it's just not good for my body. But there's a big difference. I had a coaching client I was talking to last night because we're doing a major increase in her business. And I asked her, she had 3 mini doodles in one family. And they were all like, let's say 30 pounds each. And I asked her, I said, would you rather do those 3 doodles or 6 Yorkies? And it was like the meh schedule. I said, how do you feel of being charged this amount of money to do those 3 doodles? No, I wouldn't do it. Okay, how would you feel charging this amount of money to do those doodles? And then it was what I called the semi, like meh. And then I said, how about this price? And she was like, meh, like a happy meh, like the yay meh. And then I said, how would you feel? I said the same price of the happy meh to the Yorkie price. I said, okay, 6 Yorkies. And she was like, yeah, I would do that. I said, okay, well, here you go. This is why we're building your business around this. Now, some of you guys hate Yorkies. That's okay. She's building her business around what makes her happy. I want you to build your business around what makes you happy. And if you have a shop with lots of groomers, I highly suggest figuring out what they love to do and give them those things. If they're a 6 Yorkie person, give them the 6 Yorkies. If they're happier to do the 3 doodles at that price, give them the 3 doodles, whatever it is. So this is, and I obviously scratched out their name. This is where I decided to go ahead and respond. And I'm sorry, she responded to me. I'm trying to open all these things. I'm pretty good for this amount of time. River Lee, are you kidding? I have 3 Shih Tzus that I groom one at a time, and it takes me 2 hours. So $55 a dog. That is $165. You're saying I should buy my own clippers, blade, scissors, and pay sharpening and get 30%. Well, here's some bad business for your ass. I can groom those dogs at my house and get insurance and have the $165 for 2 hours of my day. What a joke. Pay me hourly. That is funny. I'll groom 4 dogs in 8 hours. Pay me 50%. I'll groom 8 dogs in 8 hours. $100 a dog times 8 equals $800. 50% is $400 a day for me. Why the hell should I get $30 for an hour and you 70? That is, sorry, some of the grammar is really bad. I'm trying to, sorry. Here we go. Back down to here. Here we go. Why the hell should I get $30 an hour? It's supposed to be an hour. And you $70, that is stingy, abusive shit. Let me guess, you pay $10.99, not W-2. A groomer pays herself. Let's say you and one groomer works for you. You both groom the same amount of dogs. Your ass is getting 100% of your dogs and 70% of hers. That makes you a fucking asshole. Using and abusing, shake my head. All right, I think I said that right. And I'm not trying to make fun of her. I'm just trying to read it. I'm dyslexic, guys. So when I'm reading things that are kind of messed up, it's really hard for me to read. So here's the problem with that statement, obviously. You're grooming illegally. You might have insurance, but are you licensed? Like, not grooming license, but if I call the town, are you licensed? If I call the town, do you have a trade name? Now, some areas, you don't need that. Some areas are very rural, and you can just literally open a business out of your house and do that. But most places you have to get zoned, which can be very expensive. You have to go to multiple different hearings. It might cost you thousands of dollars and get a lawyer to do that. There's lots of things like that. It's not legal. You're right. If you want to do things illegally, of course you're going to make more money. Of course. That's the whole point of criminal enterprise. If you want to do things illegally, you're going to make more money. Now, if you want to buy a home that is mixed use, which is what I owned at one point, which is a home that is both able to do a business and be living, because living in a commercial space is illegal. Trust me, I've done it. And owning a business in a residential home in most areas is illegal. So yes, if you run your business illegally, you will make more money. I mean, duh. If you were a criminal and you made less money, you would be stupid. I'm sorry. And what this person doesn't understand is, again, that $55, my goal is for them not to do that. That's not profitable. If you're going to do dogs one-on-one, start to finish, and it takes you 2 hours, which for a Shih Tzu is a very long time. Like, I'm a lazy son of a bitch, but 2 hours for a Shih Tzu is a long time. I would hope you could get it done in, unless if the dog is horrible, every hour and a half. And again, I tell my coaching clients to get pets on every 4 weeks, because a Shih Tzu done every 4 weeks is a lot easier, uses less product, and is a lot more compliant at every 4 weeks. It's a lot easier and less wear and tear on my groomer, less wear and tear on me. And the whole point of owning a business is that I get money and I don't have to work. I don't want to own my job. If I wanted to own my job, I would just work at Petco and take the $100,000 that I invested in my van and put it in the stock market. And a lot of people, you would actually make more money doing that. Investing tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars into a business to own a job is stupid. Because at that 50%, if you are willing to illegally run your business out of your home, which you're probably doing, then you're probably not paying taxes. So yes, you're probably like, I get half, you get half, we're both happy. Well, no, I have to pay for my tax bracket 25 to 30%, depending upon how many deductions I have, which since I don't own my home anymore and I decided to rent, it's a lot less money. When I was married, I actually had more deductions. My son's a great deduction, but he's not. My business is a great deduction, except it's not. I don't get all of my money back because I run my business legally, and I wanted to show a profit so that I can get things like, when I get another business loan for my van, for my next van, or if I want to buy a house. You have to show you've earned money for people to lend you money. That's just the truth. Here, guys, is the next. She had also added this afterwards as well. River Lee, you're so full of shit. You said you're not a good groomer, so let's get real. If the shop rent is $2,000 and electric is $600 and insurance is $300 a month, me getting 50% paid all that, and you still have leftover money and the tax bullshit you speak of, all groom shops should charge sales tax, and that's it. Now you get tax deductions for shampoo orders and that $35 of flea shampoo, that you charge $10 a flea bath, that a 1 gallon of flea shampoo, how many dogs, so you made like $200 on that one bottle of shampoo that pays for your shampoo order. Give me a break. You're a harsh businesswoman. That is wrong one. Boop. Sorry. I don't know why this is doing that. Hang on one second. It's because I messed this all up. Here. So that is, don't mind me. My eyes literally hurt trying to read this. Give me a break. You're a harsh businesswoman. That is self-saying you're not a good groomer, so want to pay someone less that what your ass gets. User abuser, your DBA big deal doing business as is really cheap to get and only means doing business as. Anyone can get that. So you, a subpar groomer, must live somewhere amazing that has a lot of cats that are willing to pay you $100 a month to wash the cat. That is so cute that you think you're trying to say that. Okay. So I just need a second because, again, I'm not saying anything bad about her. I think a lot of what's happening, as someone who's dyslexic, like when I'm reading things like that, it's so hard because like my brain is trying to fix it, and then it's just like, my brain just goes. All right. But I got the glasses on so I can think and read and do all of that and be merry. All right, so reading that, obviously a couple of things, but first things first. Sales tax is different than income tax, and tax on a business. Now, a DBA, which is what I have, and now if you have an LLC, if you have an S Corp, a C Corp, those are different things. But I have to pay taxes on my income. That is not sales tax. Sales tax is a different. So in my state, we collect 7% sales tax. I can't charge my income tax to my customers. That's not the way that works. Income tax is what I pay the government for the pleasure of being an American. And I'm perfectly happy to pay my taxes. I would like to pay less taxes, but taxes go to things like paying the roads, paying for the less fortunate, paying for Social Security, people who get injured permanently who can't work. That's what my taxes go to. It goes to a lot of bad things too, but that's what my taxes go to. I got to pay them. So I can't charge my customer that. So I think she misunderstands, again, what income tax is, because she's probably running her business illegally. So, right. And so all she's looking at is the rent is $2,000, the electric is $600, and then the insurance. Okay. But shampoo, and again, shampoo can go bad. Shampoo can create problems, all kinds of things. But you don't include as tables, the build out of that shop. Now, if you're lucky and you have someone in your life who's very handy, great. Or if you're very handy, great. I'm not. So thankfully I had bought my shop with somebody who had already had a shop. But to put in a tub, a professional level tub, table, flooring, painting, etc., upgrading the electrical, upgrading the hot water is going to be, if you do it yourself, $10,000. If you do it, now some places like where I live, there's certain things you can do by yourself and certain things you can't do yourself. I would say the average build out of a grooming salon is $30,000 to $100,000. Most people between $30,000 and $50,000 if they don't have a retail space. So you're forgetting the $30,000 to $50,000 I invested in that business to begin with. Okay. And then you add in $2,000, for the rent. Okay. But I had to put down in some states first, last security. So that's $6,000 right there that I had to invest to be able to work there. The electric, it's a lot of electric. Guess what? If we're closed in my area for a month because of snow, which we actually at one point we had 1 year in my shop where we literally closed every single, it would start snowing every Friday. And then midday Saturday, we had to close because the snow was so bad. And then we couldn't open again till Tuesday. And this happened for like 5 weeks straight. And it happened to the point where my town that my shop was in ran out of money to plow the streets. And then customers could not get out of their street because were blocked in on their streets because the town had run out of money. Now, these are extreme cases, but that's why we have an emergency fund. In this example, where's the business owner going to get 6 months to a year's worth of emergency stockpile for money? Where are they going to get it? How are they going to save up 6 months to a year? Now they've invested $30,000 to $50,000 building that shop out. Now they've got to save, let's say, these expenses because she's forgetting a lot. She's forgetting shampoo. She's forgetting, taxes. She's forgetting. we can go on and on and on. But it's interesting because generally people that are running their business illegally or they aren't a business owner. They don't understand all of the added expenses of being a business owner. And when you look at this, you're like, this is pretty reasonable. Two things about the flea shampoo. One, we don't do flea baths because that's disgusting. I'm sorry. Like between everything we have, between Frontline, Advanix, Capstar, Revolution, there's no reason to be doing a flea bath. It's bad for my groomer to be using flea shampoo. And it's bad for the pet. The pet could have a severe reaction. If that pet has a seizure from that flea shampoo, which can happen, guys. Again, it's very rare, but it can happen. Who's paying that vet bill? Is my groomer? No, I am. If that pet has an adverse reaction and goes home because they had a flea bath, who pays that vet bill? I do. And sometimes your insurance will deny claims like that. They'll say it's the shampoo manufacturer's issue. And then you're caught in the middle. Do you pay the bills and hope your insurance pays you back? Or do you contact the shampoo manufacturer and then they're going to say that you didn't put the shampoo on right? Who's to blame? And in the middle is you and your reputation. And so is your groomer going to pay when you're closed for 2 weeks because you've been social mobbed and people are saying that you've burned this dog? Look at how horrible you are. No, your groomer can just pick up and go to another shop. I mean, I hope they wouldn't, but they could. If they lost their livelihood, an employee can just pick up and go to another shop. You know, this person at Pet Value can just leave and go open a new shop. Go to another shop versus Pet Value is going to have to figure out how they're going to deal with all of the debt and they're going to have to sell off all those assets. It's a very different experience. So we don't do flea shampoo because of the risk. And honestly, I think it's gross. I don't think if I was a hairdresser, I wouldn't deal with lice. So as a groomer, I don't deal with fleas. And $35 a gallon for a shampoo is super cheap. I don't know what you're buying. But I use like Pooch. I use Chubb's bars. And when I was doing dog grooming, I love Show Season. Show Season, I feel like was like the cheapest shampoo I used. And I don't care what kind of shampoo you use. Use whatever you want. But I feel like $35 a gallon is really cheap. I don't think I've paid $35 a gallon unless if I bought it like physically at Pet Edge and they were like the scents they were discontinuing. So I would say my average shampoo is between $50 and $90 a gallon. So I wouldn't charge $10 for that. I would charge way higher than that because it's not just the $10, like the shampoo. It's also my van has to be fogged because I don't want my next client to get fleas. I'm going to have to disinfect the entire van. My groomer's going to have to change smocks, which means I'm going to have to probably have multiple smocks. And honestly, I don't want my poor groomer to go home and bring those fleas home with them. Alternatively, when I have my shop, the second you bring a flea dog into my shop, now I have to figure out who possibly could have been infected with fleas. Because if that dog shakes, it's shaking flea eggs and fleas everywhere. They're like little pirates jumping off the dog. So that's a higher cost. You're thinking $10 flea shampoo, you're making your money back. No, because if that flea jumps on one of the other dogs of a client who's very high end, which I have luxury clients. I enjoy having luxury clients. I like clients that pay me a lot of money. Then they're going to be super pissed because if they go home, if their dog that they paid for me to groom goes into their car, the fleas jump all over the car. Then the fleas go home. And let's say they have a large home. Let's say they have a 2,500 square foot to 4,000 square foot home. And that dog goes all in their house and in their beds, and there's fleas everywhere. Now I'm going to have to pay to have their house bombed for my negligence. Because ultimately, everything that happens in my shop is my responsibility. And that's why getting paid 50% as the shop owner, as the business owner, as the person taking all the risk isn't enough. Because how many grooms is it going to take for me to recoup that money? And again, tax deductions, whenever people talk about tax deductions, they don't seem to understand what a tax deduction is. A tax deduction is I get to keep my money and the government doesn't get it. It's not like the government is giving me money. The government doesn't give me money back for the shampoo. The government says, well, you spent this money, therefore we'll let you keep some of your money. I mean, that's not a gift. That's just not theft. I'm okay with being called a harsh businesswoman. Listen, in the last 10 years, I've had a lot of shit happen to me. I have been homeless. I have been left pregnant. Whether or not I deserved that, you can be an asshole and say I deserved it. Who knows? Right? Because this person's obviously nasty. So let's say they say, well, you must be a horrible human being to have been pregnant and homeless because no one loved you. Maybe. Who knows? But I took that baby and we ended up building a life for ourselves. We opened a shop. I lived there illegally for 6 months. So I understand when you're desperate doing things illegally. I understand it. My goal is to give you other options. My goal is to help you make better decisions because I didn't have a choice. Or at least I didn't see a choice other than that. Maybe if I had someone like me in my life, I could have helped me make better choices. But I didn't. So I had to do what I had to do. And then from there, I missed my son's first step. I missed his first word. I missed everything. We lived illegally in that shop for 6 months. I worked 60 to 80 hours a week. I worked 6 or 7 days a week for the first, I don't know, probably 4 years of his life. So I missed out on all those beautiful moments that I don't get back. I don't get back. Okay? So the money I earn is so that I have beautiful, precious moments. I bought a house. I flipped it. It was wonderful. I owned it for 5 years. I loved that house. But when I got pregnant with twins, I married a man who I didn't realize didn't want children, but he didn't. And I got pregnant with twins. I went septic when they were 20 weeks along. I almost died. I had a fever of 104. And I lost them. And I am so grateful that I'm a harsh, greedy bitch because I got to mourn my daughter's death instead of going to work. I got to just be at home and be present because had I been the same person I was when I opened my shop, if I had not grown financially, then I would have had to go to work. And thankfully at the time I had hired somebody. And what was great is that they were able to tell everyone my kids had died because all my customers had baby presents for me. And my groomer would come home every day and she would bring promise myself I wouldn't cry. She would bring all these presents and sorry notes, and that money gave me the decision to not be there, to have to endure that. To all those amazing, wonderful customers who adored me, and I could be shielded from that. Sometimes I feel so pathetic. It's been 2 years. And I always think I've healed. I don't think I'll ever heal. Every time I talk about them, I cry. Money gives you decisions and freedom. That is what money is. Money is the freedom to say, I am sad that my kids died and I don't want to go to work for a few months and take a break and sell a home that reminds you of them because you had the nursery. And then when your deadbeat spouse, who didn't want children anyway, can't handle the situation and leaves you, you have money to say, good, go. I don't need you. And go through that trauma and be okay. And then realize that you're sad and you can't get out of bed. I mean, guys, I went into such a depression. I was so sad. And I was able to sell the house that was making me more sad because I just had so many beautiful memories that I couldn't handle, and move to the beach. And I made enough money to do that, guys. So money gives us freedom and power. And that's why a lot of these things here are so toxic. Money is not about being greedy. Money is about being able to enjoy your life. It is so important that you build a business that will make you more money than if you stuck all that money into an investment and worked for somebody else. And if you're not doing that, then I'm happy to help you. I'm happy to show you. I'm happy to whatever it is that you need. I offer one-on-one coaching. I offer my membership where I teach basic business concepts every month. And I offer an online course called Personal Finance Unleashed. And that teaches you how to get your money under control in 12 weeks. And next year, we're going to be doing a financial mastermind where our goal is going to be to figure out how to create wealth, to get enough money that you don't have to run your business illegally, that you can buy a house, that you can do all of the wonderful things that you deserve. And that way you can make choices about your life. Right now it's called unapologetically wealthy, but I think maybe I should just call it greedy bitch, because if it's greedy to want to spend time with my kid, then I'm greedy. If it is greedy to put me above my business, above my employees, then I'm greedy. And if that is what I am, then I'm okay with that. I will live. And I'm a badass business person. That's why I can be a mediocre dog groomer and earn more than the grooming judge down the street. Because I know how to make money. And you know why I know how to make money? Because I lived in my goddamn car and I would take a pizza and that pizza was my food for a week. And I said, I will never live this way again. Never. Ever. And I didn't do it taking my clothes off or being a criminal. Now, I did be a criminal. I did live somewhere illegally for 6 months. That's not true. But I fixed my life. And that is the greatest gift I have ever given to myself, is my dignity. And it's so important to me to teach others how to do that. But now that I'm emotional, I do have to hop on this coaching call. But I had to share all this. Hopefully you guys listen. If you don't listen, that's okay. You don't have to listen to me. You don't have to listen to me. You can tell me I'm full of shit. Guess what? That's the fun thing about being online. But for those that want a different opinion, here's my different opinion. If you like it, great. If you don't, that's fine. If you want to discuss it, we've got virtual coffees. There's always multiple options to do. All right, guys, take it easy. Enjoy your day.